So Derek wrote the foreword in the book, and he talks a little bit about it. But when me and Dr. Davis were on the flight from Tampa, and he was talking about this book project, I had told him about a time when Derek was still playing ball, and he calls me. I lived about 16 blocks from him in the city, and he calls me. It's on a Sunday afternoon. He's like, Sharlee, come over. You can eat dinner here, which, that's all you had to say to get me down the street, right? Free food. He's like, you can come have dinner here, but you have to see this. It was early evening because he had a day game. So he says, there's this special you have to watch. Get over here. So I walk to his house, go upstairs, and his assistant is looking like rolling her eyes like, we've seen this 3 times already. And he's like, no, you got to watch this, Sharlee. This is crazy. So I'm watching this special, and I think it was like on ABC or one of the news specials. And it was about Katie Piper. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She's from London. She was the model whose boyfriend had acid thrown in her face. And it was probably an hour and a half special, and he is just like rewinding, fast forward, and he's like, if that was me, I'd be done. Like, I'd be done. I'd be sitting in the corner, mom and dad's house, I'd be done. Like, I wouldn't be able to. And she had started her own foundation, and she was, out there facing the world, going through, all the painful recovery that you go through with burns, and she just was smiling and hopeful and, just inspiring others. And he goes, I don't know. He goes, that's amazing for her. He's like, but if that was me, there is no possible way I would have gotten through it. And that stuck with me. And I'm sitting there going, you? Of course you could get through it. Like, what do you mean? Like, you come from a supporting family. Like, you're strong enough to get through this. And he said, no, that, never. And I was like, and then he said one other thing as I was leaving. He said to me, he goes, Sharlee, if there was one person that I wanted to meet, it would be her. And I'm going, here's Derek Jeter that everybody thinks is like, just larger than life superhero and can do anything. But here's a real life situation, somebody who really nobody knows, publicly, that he's saying that's the one person he would want to meet. So that always stuck with me. And when I was talking to Samson about that, he was just saying that's what's amazing about this is like, not everyone is going to go play for the New York Yankees, right? Not everyone's going to have that opportunity to experience that. But every single person, no matter who they are going to be faced with some huge challenge to overcome. And if you have somebody who plays for the Yankees, that is this superhero on the field who says, I would be faced with a real life challenge and I would not have handled it that way, that's an interesting thing. And we have something here. We need to go out and meet these, figure out what it is they have that, this is a common thing that people feel like they may fail or they may not be able to get through something. So that was an interesting story. And I remember my mom saying to me too, that if it was Derek who was diagnosed in college, he would have been home with them. And Derek said the same thing in the foreword. He said, if that would have been me, I would have been at home. Which I thought was interesting.